Well, one day I will get my own intro for me, but not just yet. Anyway, welcome back, everyone. It's Cardiff City Live, and not just that, but it's the Terrace Take today. Obviously, your host, Evan James, hosting that. Going solo again. Again, do not mind it either way. Hopefully, you lovely people in the comments will chime in tonight because I'm going to talk a bit about our transfer window, our January transfer window specifically, and whether or not we won this transfer window or it was a bit of a waste. Um, just so you know, guys, as always, I'm going to give my opinions. So scary, I know, right? But no, honestly, from just talking like absolute like raw, unfiltered, what do I think about it? I personally think you can't really argue with it. It's like a loan signing, a permanent signing. I had a feeling that we wouldn't even get anyone in permanently at one point, but yet we managed to get basically three permanent signings and one loan. The two that have not been talked about as much are the Isaac Davis one, and is it Herbert James or James Herbert? I'm not sure which way around it is. I think it's Herbert James. We'll have to double check with that one. So yeah. Basically, I'm just gonna. I don't know. I've done a little bit of research on these guys. Right, I've watched size videos about the scout reports and everything about these players as well. But yeah, I'm still like kind of like not much in the know. Some of these players, like Callum Scanlon, I know a bit about, right? Liverpool youngster, and last season scored a goal against us for Millwall, and it was a pretty good goal to be fair to him. And no, the kid's got some pace about him. Harry Tyra, not so much a kid really. I'm used to like people getting signed this season who are just complete like kids and everything, which is again, it's not a bad thing. It's just I'm used to players coming in under the age of like 23, and I believe he is 24 right now, or maybe 25. Yeah, he still has a baby face, but regardless, I think that from his previous clubs as well that he's done. Well, I think he's done all right. I think, and I got some stats here. I do have a little sort of like potluck quiz that if it does get a bit busy in here, then please do play along. It's only about 6 questions, and I just thought I might leave it a bit to the end. However, if I do leave the quiz till the end, the one downside of that is that some of the stuff I might reveal in this video might sort of give away some of the answers. But we'll see how things go. But anyway, guys, let us know down in the comments that you're watching. Say evening. I'd love to see everyone who's a regular here. I'm sure we are just a bit early as well. 8 o'clock is like an early kickoff for us, but it is a Wednesday, so nothing really particularly special apart from today's show. Yeah, so first of all, let's go through. Okay, let's talk about Harry Tyra first because he was the first unveiled. 24-year-old goalkeeper. He's born in Crosby, England, and last played for Blackpool on loan from Everton. And I was going to go to stats today, but maybe one of the questions later, just so you know. But yeah, he's played 38 games last season for Blackpool, so he's definitely played the overwhelming majority of the games, which is good to see. Yeah, I've watched a few little things you can dig out on YouTube, but it's quite hard to find a lot of videos on Tyra. I think as well is limited sort of experience. When I say limited experience, he's been in the Everton academy now, or the Everton under 21s for a while, and it's nice to know that we've got him on a permanent because I think that look, I have no problem with getting loans from like Premier League clubs or whatever. And I think it's great that we're able to get that kind of quality. I just think it was nice for once to see us get someone on a permanent from like a Premier League club, even though it might mean that it's not one of their best players. Obviously, you're not gonna get Mohamed Salah coming to Cardiff anytime soon. I highly doubt that, unless we go Saudi, maybe I don't know. But yeah, so Callum Scanlon on loan as well. I think is a very very smart signing, a very quiet bit of business as well because I think he has suffered a lot with injuries, and I think he's injured right now with a hamstring injury, if I'm right in saying. He picked up one in the under 21 game for Liverpool not so long ago, which is amazing to hear. Again, I don't know the extent of that, if it's just something like a precaution. My only concern with this is that he does seem injury prone, and yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't like that we kind of have a history right now, albeit, we're getting some really good talent at this club and we've already got quite a bit of depth. We are picking up quite a few injury-prone players, or maybe not injury-prone, but players who are known to be coming back from a pretty serious injury. And like you look at the likes of Amari Kellerman, for example. I mean, I think he's now a great player. I think it was a very smart move they went for. But in terms of January, like I think I said this a few podcasts ago, that in January you don't want to be picking up players who are not fully fit. You want players who can start firing. And look, this is just our luck that Scanlon maybe got injured. But for me, it's just like I just hope, because he doesn't look like the strongest of players, and that we've gone, maybe Kapako falls in the same category, but we have NG and Bagan, who are currently our two like starting fullbacks. I think they got a bit more grit about them, a bit more meat on their body, and like, what NG lacks in terms of like overall size, he has that kind of like S-Housery type football, and he's got a bit about him to he's not gonna let himself get bullied. If anything, he is the bully. But it's like I can see Scanlon playing as like a very, very much attacking left back, doing the role that Joel Bagan can do, but less physical and more just pace. And it's great. It's great that you can have that option of you have the choice between someone who's a bit more physical but a bit slower. But again, like Joel Bagan, he's got a bit of age on him. Or you could go for a bit more raw, pacey, very attack-minded left back, and it can work either way. And I think that I think Scanlon's going to become a regular for Liverpool in years to come. I don't think so. I think he'll end up going to play at a good level, championship level, I reckon. There's not nothing saying he can't be playing at Premier League level, but at a lower tier club. And that's no disrespect to any of the teams, but like the likes of Bournemouth, or I mean, even Bournemouth are doing all right. But Crystal Palace, your Leeds, if they stay up, I'm sure he could get a first team starter then in years to come if this period with us goes well. Then it comes the issue of like if these players do well on loan, or even Harry Tyler, for example, if he gets a shout and they do well whilst they're here, are they going to perform too well to where they're going to be sold elsewhere? Now, from what we've seen with Salek and possibly Oli Tanner, I'm just plucking names up from thin air who I think would go for a bit for market value. Ruben Colwell, Joel Colwell. I mean, you can chuck Joel Bagan if you want to. There's so many players right now. You think that, saying these players are clearly not for sale. And we managed to keep hold of the likes of Salek, the likes of Ruben Colwell, who you would have thought, right, at the end of last season would be absolute goners. And, Salek come out, and I keep going back to this, where Salek said that, he's staying with his club. And that was just after we got relegated that he said he's going to stay. Now, at the time, you sort of think, okay, well, they're all going to say that because they're just trying to say the bit of press to, acknowledge that it's not been a good season, and then they'll get snapped up. But to be fair to the board and to Salek and his agent or whoever's involved, he stuck by his words. He said he was staying, and he did stay. And it would have been a shame if Salek left at such short notice. But there's always potential with the likes of Scanlon that he might come back on loan again next season if it works out for him. And I hope, obviously, we all hope it does. I just know that we haven't had a terrible history of January transfers, but it's not been smooth sailing all the way. I mean, January transfer window is never the best time to pick up the players you want. And I heard apparently, I don't want to misquote, I think Sai said in one of his Scanlon reports that they wanted him back in the summer, but he wasn't fully fit or something. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so it seems that way anyway. But I just seen everyone come into the comments here. I can see all the people come out of their cocoons. Evening, Reese Lasky, by the way. Evening, Jonathan. Evening, we've got Jonathan and Reese dominating the comment section right now. There was different individual saves, but no longer combined videos on Tyra when I looked. That was the same that I found, mate. Yeah, there's usually when you come with the more like popular players, or even not so much that, but championship level and above, they tend to have like compilations put together by people. Now I know that there's is it like We Scout or something I think it's called? There's a very expensive for professional looking like scouting thing that you can actually get a hold of if you're I think it's like an inquiry based thing where you have to be a business, where you can actually see scouting videos of pretty much every single professional footballer that there is out there. However, that's used by the literal like actual scouts of scouts who it is their job to scout players for clubs. So I might have a look into that. Obviously, if it's mega bucks, then there's no way I'm going to be looking into it. But I do love to sort of like scout players and just have a look at hidden gems that we could potentially sign. And if there's anything to go by with what Sai's been saying before with BBM, and then somehow he becomes our manager, I just say, maybe the club can secretly take a bit of inspiration from some of my scouting efforts. But yeah, that's probably not going to happen. I mean, I'm wishing on a star there, aren't I? Reece Lasky said, to be fair, he had a back fracture, then followed by a hamstring issue, but that's fairly common after major back issues. The hamstrings will tighten, and he's an explosive runner, so I think if managed well, he should be fine. Yeah, I think with Scanlon, I don't know. I'm thinking of the Wilson Esbrand sort of situation where he played a couple games and then he was off the rest, and he got shipped back to Man City then because it's like, well, couldn't do much else then. But I think I can't complain with the January transfer window. The only thing we sort of like have an issue with is now we've got 2 Isaac Davises. But no, I don't have a problem with that at all. And I think he's a Welsh lad as well. But yeah, so guys, what do you think? Do you think out of 10, what would you give this rating for this January transfer window? 10 being like absolutely best, we couldn't have done better. 0 being, absolute worst. I'm going to give my rating in a second, but I think, yeah, go on. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 because, yes, you could get better, but at the same time, there wasn't really a lot you could do in the January transfer window. I think it's, if you go in 10 out of 10 in terms of like transfer window recruitment, you're probably thinking, okay, well, we didn't have the players to begin with. That's why we've gone and got certain players. Like, last season in January, we went out and got Will Alves, we got Yusuf Salik and Sivert Mansberg because we needed that quality to try and stay up. I don't think we would have got Sivert Mansberg in another season because he was like a rotation player for Ajax, But I don't know. I don't know what he is now. Is Mansberg? I need to find out now. Sivert Mansberg. I'm not sure if he's still playing for Ajax. Yeah, I think he is. Let's have a look. I'm just sorry. I know I'm sort of digressing over to this, but okay, so he's gone to Sparta Prague on a loan again. So it's like, is Scanlon going to be another Sivert Mansberg where we just he's just going to go out on another loan elsewhere after this season? I mean, we can't really predict too far into the future. We just got to take it game by game. But I don't know if I would. If he does well here and we go up, you're probably thinking, get him on another season-long loan or potential option to buy. I don't think, as far as I'm aware, that there's anything in the negotiating the contract to say there is a promotion clause to buy. I don't think that is the case. And I have to sort of say don't think a few times because I don't I want to be allegedly and all that. But it would be interesting if something like that was in his contract. I think we would probably know by now if that was the case. I know at least with Nathan Trott, I said we just got to get promoted and hope and pray that he wants to come back and that we can buy him back. That's the main thing for me. And then you have Harry Tyra, which it begs the question, is it a sort of like safety net? Because I know we have Matthew Turner right now, and I thought he was doing pretty well, and he's very unfortunate not to be the first choice keeper, but obviously BBM had a first choice keeper in mind, and that was Nathan Trott. And that meant that Matthew Turner could only feature in the Peterborough game at the start of the season, and then only a couple other games during the league. And even in the cup games, Nathan Trott is heavily featured in them, like against Wrexham, against Chelsea. And yeah, I think that it's been very unfortunate for Matthew Turner because I thought he could have had a first team streak in the in the season. Does this mean that Matthew Turner now is that's his career at Cardiff done? And that's a very blunt way to put it, but I don't see where he comes back in this. If you bring in 2 keepers in one season when you got a new manager, it's kind of a sign that okay, you're not really confident in Matthew Turner to play or to start. And that just it makes me feel a bit gutted, really, because he's still at the club. So I'm trying not to yawn, not on the verge of crying, by the way. He's still at the club right now, but I just don't think that he's going to get a sniff in this team anymore, which is the really sad sort of thing I've sort of resorted to. But I can see the comments filling up again. By the way, I want to say even as everyone else, even Graham, always a regular here. Oh my God, we're all green names tonight. It's amazing. Yeah. So let's have a look. We managed Davis and Kellerman much better this year than other years, and even Tanner. Yeah, I think that's the thing is that BBM is very smart with manager fitness. I think it's not just him. We've got to give credit to the people who don't get mentioned as well, the medical team and everything, and all the other staff that work under BBM, because it's so much deeper than just BBM. But again, BBM is the one that gets the final call, the final say, and everything, and he's the one that's put out in front of the public every other day or so, and doing press conferences and speaking to the important people, let's just say. And yeah, you've got to say that he's managed it really well. And even in terms of like Alex Robertson, not just coming back from injury, but he really didn't get a sniff in the team for a good few weeks or even months before, until he's given like a chance to get back. And then he's slowly been reintegrated. He hasn't just been chucked in there because he knows the levels that he's capable of. I know that BBM's only going to expect the highest standard for them, whilst also encouraging them as they're still really young. Let's have a look. Jonathan says pretty similar on both flanks. Bacon and NG more experienced, slower, no nonsense fullback. Scanlon and Capaccio less experienced, pacey. This is what I mean, yeah, and unpredictable, yeah. So Jonathan perfectly summed it up there. What I was saying earlier, which is that you've got the option now of like not like an it's not like the two extremes of, but it's like you've got someone who's got more pace and less predictable, bit more raw, versus someone who is a bit bulkier or a bit more of a veteran, let's say, with the likes of Bacon and Angie. And it's mad to think I'm calling Joel Bacon a veteran because he's not. He's still just only entering his mid-20s now. But you've got like the other side then, which is a bit more on the physical side, but also very physically fit in terms of stamina. Joel Bacon as well. I didn't really think he would be like overlapping as much and inverted. I thought he'd be more of a defensive fullback. When he first started the club, that's how I saw him, was a defensive fullback. He had that kind of build of a centre back, but yeah, he scored 3 goals in 3 games a couple of seasons ago, and how the manager at the time didn't see more in him, I don't know. I think it was I wrong and say it was Mick McCarthy at the time? Maybe Steve Morrison, yeah. But Errol Bullitt obviously saw something in Joel Bacon, and I'm glad that he gave him the chance, because if I'm being honest, Joel Bacon probably would have been sold. I think we all sort of come to a point where we thought, okay, Joel Bacon was going to be sold, and I was kind of gutted because I'm thinking, he had an alright time at Cardiff, and then obviously then he, I'm not sure if he had a contract extension or, yeah, I think he did, but yeah, I'm glad he's still at the club because he's just a great example to lead by, isn't he? But I just realised I left my drink on the other side of the room now, so I'm going to have to settle with squash. Oh, no. So, I see that the comments are filling up a bit more. I'm going to quickly go through some of these. I have got a quiz, guys. Feel free to play along. It's kind of like a potluck quiz, really, but I thought I just made it just before a few minutes before the show started. And just to give you a bit more of information and insight about these 2 players that we've brought in for the January transfer window. Before that, I just want to go to a few more comments. Let's have a look. Sorry, I realize there's quite a few comments, but I appreciate the engagement. Wintle adds an extra line of defense as well. Always drops back to cover when fullbacks get forward. And that's the essential part, is that I felt like at the start of the season, we didn't have the number 6 staying back. I think BBM maybe learned the hard way with it, or maybe he's trying to coach that into them, but the players weren't fully taking it on board. But you'll see the likes of Alex Robertson or Wintle, one of the two, or maybe they alternate. One of them is almost always sweeping across the back line, and they're not just like all going forward, because at one point, I think it's when we played Blackpool last, we just sent everyone forward and we had 1 or 2 at the back. Sometimes we had 0 defense, and it wasn't great, let's just say that, because all it took was a ball through to Fletcher. But yeah, it's nice to know you can have someone then who's a deep line playmaker or a number 6 destroyer. I still, I don't want to ruffle too many feathers now, because I don't want to try and bend players into different roles. But Gabriel Osho, I'm still interested in seeing him playing the six just to see what happens. I think he's played a little bit there before, but I'm not sure the history of that. Right now, I think it's not the right time to sort of try new things, especially that he's kind of finding his way as centre back now. I just think I see a proper number six destroyer in there. He's very physical, but he's also pretty, he likes to play quite fast pace as well. All of a sudden, my nose is running. Christ alive. Everything happens when I go live, get dry throats and all sorts. But yeah, it would be interesting to see Gabriel Osho try that. I just don't think it's the right time to try it. Maybe in preseason next season, you get slowly integrated to number six. Only because, right, I know we're quite solid in the midfield area now, and at worst case, you can play Turnbull number six, whilst I don't really think he's best at that role. It's just someone who could do a job. I just think it'd be nice for some of the players now to maybe become a bit more versatile, because I know how much BBM likes to have the versatility with players. And with Scanlon, I mean, your goalkeeper, Harry Tyra, he's not going to be more versatile in terms of playing left back or something. But at one point, you're probably thinking, can Matthew Turner play left back as a cover to Joe Bagan? But yeah, so Scanlon, I think he was originally, I think, a left mid, but he's now a left back. But I guess you can say nowadays with attacking fullbacks, they are technically playing all round down the wing. They play left back, left mid, left winger. You have the left wing back role as well, which is what Wilson Esbrand was, but unfortunately just couldn't get much time to play for us, which is a shame, really. Let's have a look. Oh, hang on. I think this is related. Graham says, more important, we keep our youngsters. I would think most were negotiating new contracts as they would be on under 21 wages playing first team football. Yeah, and he's very good at that as well. Unsung hero in times, and is faster than giving credit. Oh, yeah, that's referring to Wintle. Yeah. So with Graham's comments, yeah, I think you got to be looking at tying down players, existing players now. That's their contract's probably running a bit thin. Is Joel Bacon one of them? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Whose contract is running out? I think it is Joel Bacon's. Might be someone else as well. Honestly, I'd just give him a new deal anyway, even if he wasn't running out. I think, well, if Yusuf Salih's already getting an extra half a year extension or year extension, that's like a big statement. And look, I think the players who come on loan here as well, not just in January now, but talking of Amari Kellerman and Gabriel Osho, these are statements of these people can play at Premier League level. I'm not saying they could be first team ever, but they can be integrated, rotated into the side, maybe in cup games. But these players have either played at Premier League level or have been in some kind of Premier League club development academy system, right? And it's nice to know that we're not just settling and looking for League One quality. Because if I'm being honest, right, before the manager was announced, I'm thinking we just need a bunch of League One veterans or Championship veterans who know the leagues, who are going to be very physical and kind of basically revert back to the Warnock way of thinking of even though you might not have the best players technically gifted, because he never did have them. He had people who are physically fit, who would run, who were usually quite bulky, or just they wore the heart on their sleeve. Honestly, the badge on their sleeve, the badge on their heart. I don't know the saying, you know what I mean? Okay. But yeah, they honestly, it's very, very exciting that we've got potential Premier League talent in our squad. And again, I think they're a bit off that just right now, but I'm sure it'll come. Let's see. All right. Okay, so there's 26 people watching. I'm going to go through this quiz now. Feel free, please do play along, because otherwise I'm going to be on my own. But I just thought it's a little bit of fun. I know that we got a big competition here. We got Reese Lasky, Jonathan, Mordecai, Graham. I know you're very good at quizzes as well. I'm sure a few others will sort of chime in. I've got 6 questions here. There's a potential 8 points because one of the questions has multiple answers. But yeah, so I got 6 questions here, and they mainly focus on Callum Scanlon and Harry Tyra. Some are slightly less relative, but you'll understand now. So the first question, and just put your answer down in the comments. I'll give people time to answer this. But number one is Callum Scanlon scored against Cardiff City last season for Millwall or Millwall. But what was the final score of Cardiff versus Millwall in that game last season? So put your comments down there for your answers. Only get one answer, I'm afraid. So I'll take your first answer. But Callum Scanlon scored against Cardiff City last season for Millwall, but what was the final score? And if you want to cheat and look at the answers, you can do so, but I can tell by the time it takes for you to answer whether you cheated or not. Jonathan says 2-1. 2-1. Okay. 2-1 to Cardiff, 2-1 to Millwall. This is, let's specify. I haven't said whether it was a away or home game. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Millwall, 2-1 Millwall. Okay, I'm gonna give the answer in 5 seconds if anyone else gets the answer down. Oh, evening Paul, by the way, I will say I did see your comment sneak in. So last time I'll repeat the question just because I said people are not there. Come on. So just last time I'll say the question. Callum Scanlon scored against Cardiff City last season for Millwall, but what was the final score? 2-1 means a home team Millwall. Okay, yeah. Fair enough, yeah. I just didn't specify whether it was a home or away game, so that's why I need a thing. So the answer actually was 2-2. It ended in a draw from a last minute or towards the end, a Yusuf Salek brace. I think it was his debut away goal or something. But yeah, he scored a goal on in the last few minutes, and it ended 2-2. I remember absolutely. I think it was the last kick of the game. I was absolutely screaming when we equalised that goal because to us that was like a point gained at that time. So yeah, it wasn't a great watch at first, but yeah, Salek's first goal, that was a debut goal. Callum Scanlon opened the scoring record. Then it was that Bangura Williams, I think it was. Man, he scored an insane goal. He turned our centre back into a pretzel, to be fair, whoever's defending. I can't remember who it was at the time. But yeah, it wasn't good. I think it was maybe an NG. But that Bangura Williams still plays for Millwall, I think. I would have loved to sign him, but he doesn't seem to be on a great form. Regardless, question number 2. Okay, so now you get a point for each former club that Harry Tyra has been on loan to from Everton. So there's 3 clubs in total that you have to write down. If you just know 2, just write down 2. If you just know one of the previous clubs, not including Cardiff City, there are 3 clubs, former clubs, that Harry Tyra has been on loan to from Everton. Okay, and it's the only 3. So get your answer down in the comments. If anyone gets all 3, I will be quite surprised. But I will give you a little bit of a clue here. There are 2 clubs in there that I'll just say this, they are a bit similar to each other in one way. But yeah, Harry Tyra has been on loan to 3 different clubs prior to Cardiff City. What are the 3 clubs? Jonathan scored early. Let's see. I can only remember Blackpool. He has played non-league. Yes, he has played non-league. Unfortunately, you only get 1 point so far, unless you can think of someone other ones. Yeah, so 3 clubs. I will say, yeah, there is another club. I think that they're in League 2 at the moment, unless they have been relegated. No, I think they are in League 2. I will say the other 2 clubs, I'm not sure if this helps or not, they do sound similar. So, yeah, if anyone can get it, I doubt anyone is going to be able to get it. But just in case you're just tuning in, we're doing this quiz, and the second question of it is you get a point for each former club Harry Tyra has been on loan to from Everton, not including us. So that's 3 clubs. You get a point each for the clubs you name that he's been on loan to. Give it 10 seconds, and then I'll move on to the answer. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Jonathan, you do get a point. There's Blackpool. Ooh, here we are. Fair play. Good, nice guess. Aldershot and to be fair, they do sound similar. Yeah. So here we are. Paul's got one. Chesterfield, and it was also Chester in non-league. So that's why I said they sound, or they're similar in some way. Is that it was Blackpool, Chesterfield, and Chester. So you get a point for every one of those answers you get. Just in time, Paul. You got that answer in, fair play. Next, number 3. Okay. This is going to be a very difficult question, so don't be put down if you think the rest of this quiz is going to be really hard, because they're a mix of difficulties, not the right order. Even Cardiff City fan, by the way. Join in the quiz as well, guys. Honestly, we're just doing a little bit of fun. There's only like 4 more questions. So question number 3 is related to the January transfer window. Before Liverpool, which city's academy did Scanlon develop at, beginning with the letter B? So think of a city, begin with the letter B. So before Scanlon joined Liverpool's youth academy, he was at a different academy. If it helps at all, it's where he was born. So it's beginning with the letter B. So just think of a city beginning with B. You got Bolton, Birmingham, Bristol. What else? You got Barnsley. I think, yeah, it's a city in it. Cardiff City fans already got us guessing. Hey, it could be Bradford as well. Yeah, Jonathan. Let's have a look. What other city beginning with B? Obviously, it's going to be in England. It's not going to be in Wales, but I can't really. It's not going to come from Bangor, is he? I think now. So, Brummies says Paul. Brentford. Oh, that's another one. Yeah, to be fair, Brentford. I'm only going to accept your first guess, though, Cardiff City fan. Brightford. Bury. Oh, I doubt that one, but I like the guess, Jonathan. Brighton. Is Brightford a place, or have you just kind of mixed Brentford and Brighton up? I'm not sure. Okay, so the answer was Birmingham City. So he was born at Brummie, he's grown up at Brummie, and then he moved to Liverpool once. I didn't actually know that. I thought he was actually just from the Liverpool Academy straight away, but it does make sense. So yeah, you get a point if you get that right. The next question is going to be just complete potluck one, okay? So again, don't worry if you don't get this one. There are a couple of other answerable questions, but the whole point of this is that it is just a complete guess, a bit of fun. Number 4 is to the nearest 100,000, okay? So just say like 100k, 500k, whatever. To the nearest 100,000 pounds, what is Tyra's current market value? So if you guess, just guess in the hundreds of thousands what Tyra's market value is. This might sound like a hard question, but it's probably not as hard as you think. Man City 5-0 up on that. I'm not sure. Cardiff City fan has put 400k. And by the way, just to let you know, this is in pounds as well. So to the guys as well, to the nearest 100,000. So is that 200 or 100k? Because you can't put that. Paul understands the question. Here we are. He said 800,000, or well, you add an extra 0. But yeah, so it's going to end with 2 zeros, guys, at least, or it's going to end with 5 zeros, likely. Answers come in just a second. The nearest 100,000. What is Tyra's current market value? In 3, 2, 1. The answer is 300,000. So the actual specific number is £345,788, which converts to 400,000 euros. So unfortunately, a Cardiff City fan, I am not going to accept that because I did say in pounds, but because he said 400k. But hey, fair enough. If you meant it that way, you can give yourself a point if you want to. I don't care. Question number 5, 2 more to go. Which current Cardiff City player has Scanlon recently played with in the last year? This is probably a bit easier, and it might take a little bit of digging to remember this, but which current Cardiff City player has Scanlon recently played with in the last year? So a Cardiff City player who's currently at the club, who is in the first team, has played with Scanlon in the last year, but who is it? And I'm not sure how fast people will get this. I don't know if he's played a lot, but definitely played. I'm not actually sure about that, Jonathan. I have to double check on that. We got you. Jonathan says Wintle. Graves says Wintle. Cardiff City fan Wintle. Evening Ryan's call. Wintle as well. That wasn't hard, Ev. Hey, Hey, I'm mixing some really easy with some really hard ones, okay? So I'm giving you a nice break, so be grateful. No, exactly. If it's not hard, it's not hard. But yeah, it was Ryan Wintle. Well done. We got one more question, but I might add. Was no, it wasn't Kelly Mademoiselle, was it? Was it two of them? Kelly Mademoiselle, what was he? But yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Have one, please. Then. Okay. Just for you, Cardiff City fan. This one's hard anyway. You ready? Okay. I was gonna give you plus or minus one. So everyone else, right, gets a plus or minus one to the answer. But for Cardiff City fan, right? England, yeah. But for Cardiff City fan, right, you have to get it spot on to make it hard. But everyone else gets plus or minus one. So yeah. And not in the last year. Well done, Jonathan. That's a good point. So Tyra has played 38 games for Blackpool last season, but how many clean sheets did he get? So everyone gets plus or minus one to the amount of clean sheets. But for Cardiff City fan, you have to get a spot on. You have to. So Tyra played 38 games for Blackpool last season, but how many clean sheets did he get? Wow, people no delay there. Your Cardiff City fan says 13. Jonathan says 12. Geraint says 8. Graham says 14. I'll give a little bit more time because we have got a few more participants. I have got a little bonus question, but it's not related to Cardiff City World as much. It kind of isn't at the same time. Paul says 11. Okay, so going around the same area, I'm not sure whether that's herd mentality if people don't want to put too high or low of a guess, and I'm not trying to influence anyone. But fair enough. I'm going to go to the answer in 5 seconds. I mean, honestly, as long as you don't put a number that's above 38, you know you're not going to embarrass yourself. In all competitions, I'm just talking about League One. I will say. So I will actually, you know what? Because I didn't specify, I will allow different answers if it matches right. So Galaxy fans is 40. I mean, if all competition, I'm talking League One, but if anyone gets it with the cup games, I will give the answer for that as well. So you know, I'm not going to be horrible. You know, the answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so in League One, he made 30. He played 4. Bloody hell, he played 38 games, or made appearances. He kept 12 clean sheets. So, Jonathan, well done. You got absolutely spot on there. You got 12 clean sheets. If we add in the EFL Trophy and the FA Cup, which brings that up to 42 games, he has made 13 clean sheets. So, yeah, you can give yourself a point, Cardiff City fan, if you got 13. Fair play, you know. It was, in League One, but fair play for that ball knowledge anyway. Now, add your points up and let me know how many points you got. So just say, you know, the number plus PTS or points, so I know that you're not just answering that question. Because I got a little tiebreaker for you guys. So the game's not over. Don't worry. I put this quiz together in about 5 minutes, as you could tell, before the show started. So I just thought I'd just do a little extra to keep things, you know, a bit spice up a bit, you know. 3 join. Hey, fair play there. If you got 3 points, you joined late. That's pretty good going. There was the second question was basically, I'll run through the questions again. So the first question was, what was the final score in the Millwall Cardiff game that Callum Scanlon scored in? The answer was 2-2. You get a point for each former club that Harry Tyra has been on loan to from Everton, which was Blackpool, Chesterfield, Chester. Before Liverpool, which city's academy did Scanlon develop at? Begin with the letter B. That was Birmingham City. To the nearest 100,000, Tyra's current market value is 300,000. Cardiff City players, Wintle played with Cardiff City player Scanlon, and Tyra got 12 clean sheets in the league. And yeah, so the bonus question, let's have a look. So fair play, it is a very, very tough quiz, really, with one really easy question. The bonus question, this will go for, let's have a look, 10 points. Hey! fair enough, at least you're being honest about the So, let's have a look. For a tiebreaker, let's see. For 8 points, so either, well, either one of you can win for out of Paul, Jonathan, or Cardiff City fan, or at least Jonathan, you can draw top with Paul for 8 points. Next Tuesday is my birthday. How old will I be? Get your comments in. You own your first answer. So if you misclick whatever, that's your answer. Next Tuesday is my birthday. So how old will I be? No wrong answers. You're not allowed to joke about it. If you put 72, but hey, see if you can cheat on this one, right? See if you can cheat on this one. This is the one cheat-proof question that you can't sort of cheat on because it's completely cheat-proof. Because I doubt many of you know my actual birthday, and if you do, I'll be a bit concerned. If you know my actual date of birth. So Paul said 34, Jonathan 25, Cardiff City fan 26. Okay, I'll leave a couple of seconds because I'm interested to see if anyone else pops in what age I'll be. Gavin Cole says 28-ish. Is that 28 or is it just around about there? You don't wanna offend me in case it gets too high or low. What's my date of birth? Well, I'm not going to tell you that until afterwards. You'll find out. You'll find out. Yeah, a few grey hairs. To be fair, I'll go grey early. To be honest, I think that's just going to happen. Few grey hairs, just few hairs in general. If I'm being honest, to put it lightly. So I'll give it 5 more seconds. How old will I be next Tuesday, the 10th of February? I still can't say February. I had to be born in the month I can't pronounce, which is amazing. I just say 10th of Feb. Okay, the answer is in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am going to be, closest answer wins. I'm going to be 24. So don't feel bad if you guess a bit older than that. I appreciate the compliment that people said older because it makes me seem more mature for my age. I'm by far the youngest Cardiff City host to ever host. So I think, well, actually, I don't know actually because I think they were. I don't know. Maybe they were one-off cases, but as an official co-host of Cardiff City World, yeah. So hey, fair enough. Yeah, Jonathan tied with Paul. Well done. But Paul cheated. Hey, the good thing is what we're saying of good artists copy, great artists steal, amazing ones just cheat. So yeah, probably Mourinho said that. I think I don't know, but I got the ish. Like yeah, you got that part right. Yeah. And Jonathan went, yeah, there we are, fair play. Well done admitting that. I'm almost 324s. I appreciate the vulnerability there. But yeah, so I was born in 2002, so I'll be 24 years old. Let's moving on. But I actually appreciate people saying older than what I am because it makes me feel like I'm a bit more of a responsible adult than a lot of guys stereotypically my age. So yeah, there's one point, so me and Jonathan tied. Hey, yeah, I put that for 8 points. That one just to make things spiced up a little bit. But yeah, so we're already at 45 minutes now. I want to get your comments back up from earlier. I think I can see a few of them. Let's have a look. Wilson Esperance looks good until the Swansea game. He got torn to shreds and lost all of his confidence. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think he didn't get much time to adjust really. And this is the problem with not a problem. This is the caveat, I guess, or consequence of coming in January is that for me, if I'm looking at January signings, I might not be looking at the best quality, but I'm looking at people who are ready to start now, not people who are going to take a while to get back fit. And look, again, I'm not saying that it's the players' fault that they got injured. I mean, it's probably not. They're giving it their all, and the fact they're getting injured shows that they're probably going a bit too far. But I don't know. For me, it's like but I don't know. I'm sure again, if Scanlon turns out to be world-class player, and I'm sure he will be half decent at least, and he's still really young. Fantastic. We've got a left back cover. We shouldn't moan now we've got a left back. But yeah, I'm just glad that we got that sorted. But again, it's like the guy's injured already. But I think apparently I heard that what's his face being recalled back from loan from Eastleigh. I can't think of his name now. Will Spears. I think he was recalled from loan, from what I heard, unless was just some kind of fake news made up by a fake Instagram Cardiff City fan page. Um, Kellyman said he wanted Wintle in his five-man relay team, saying he looks slow but deceptively pretty fast. Yeah, I think he doesn't have the best acceleration, but like once he does get, once he is sprinting for a while, he does get a lot faster. Um, I think we have lacked with we've got all right now, but last season especially, we lacked so much in terms of explosive power. We barely had anyone. We had Isaac Davis, who was injured for a bit. We had Ollie Tanner, which I still don't think Ollie Tanner is that fast of a player as what he seems. I think it's just because he's so direct, but he is quick. Unfortunately, he was too fast to run into that advertising board, wasn't he? Which is a shame. If we slip back into playoffs, let's go back to this. Yeah, for me, it's a solid 8 in terms of rating the transfer window. We needed a keeper and a left back, and we got them. And we kept hold of everyone important. Yeah, that's very good point. And signed Salah until 2029 and loaned out some talent. Yeah, I actually, you know what? Reading that now, Reese, I would probably upgrade my rating to an 8 out of 10 just because of that, what you said then. But if we slip back into playoffs, we may look back and think, why didn't we just add an extra bit of quality? And this is what I think of, like, you don't want to ruffle the feathers by signing too many players. And then at the same time, you think of, like, if you bring in players, you expect to play them. And if players are brought in, they expect to play first team regularly, even if maybe they're not, like, the best talents. Like, they're going to expect it if you bring them in January on a permanent, especially. If they're brought in on loan, they're going to expect a certain amount of games to fit the contract. I don't know. I think if we brought Harry Tyrant in on loan, then that would have been red flag to think, like, okay, well, why are we bringing in a lone goalkeeper? You may as well have kept Matthew Turner as a backup and just brought in brought one of the youth goalkeepers as the third choice keeper. So I'm glad we didn't do that. But even then, I would kind of sort of, you still go back BBM because you think, oh, well, he's clearly got a plan in mind. There's one about Trot, I think, yeah. If we fail to get promoted, then we will likely lose Trot, and I think that Matt Turner is seen as a prospect, but maybe not 100% ready. Still think he's in our thoughts, though. Quite I say he's still alive, jeez. But yeah, I think I can see what you mean by that, but he is like 23 years old, Matthew Turner, so he's going to be looking for like first team regular football, and he's probably he could get that in League One now with us, but it doesn't look like it's going to be for the rest of the season. Yeah, that was a great chance to introduce him a bit more then, to sort of rotate him a little bit. But, it's like Matthew Turner next season, if he get promoted, he's not going to be the second choice keeper, is he? Because it's going to be Harry Tyra. Because Harry Tyra's already the backup choice for League One. So, of course, he's going to be the backup for Championship. And if we don't get Trot, then he's probably going to be the first choice keeper. I think that's the safety net behind it, is that if we don't get Nathan Trot, we've got a decent keeper in the Championship of Harry Tyra who can do the job. And from the few things I've seen from him, he is pretty fast with his reflexes. I'm not sure about his distribution. I haven't seen any of that because there's no like compilation of whatever. But Jesus, I'm spamming the chat tonight. No, mate, I don't mind that. Honestly, there seems to be less active people tonight. I mean, I'm sure that there's about 40 or so people watching, possibly more. But I know that sometimes, people don't feel like they want to message, which is completely fine. I get that. I suck so bad at the quizzes, mate. I suck so bad at the quizzes because, to be fair to Si, right, when he does a quiz, he always has questions in there which I can answer. But unfortunately, because I'm 24 and the other lads have such a, I don't want to make them seem old, but because they have such a ball knowledge advantage against me, and in terms of Cardiff City history, they're always going to have the upper hand in a way. But for what I lack in knowledge, I make up with speed and youth and prosperity. So I'm in the youth academy of Cardiff City World, I like to say. And that's why also is like, I love hosting these shows, I will say, just to finish on a bit irrelevant stuff. I love hosting these shows, but I still don't I still feel like as if like I'm, improvising or taking each show as I go. And I think that if you meet me in person, I'll talk your head off, right? And you could probably tell I talk quite a bit, which is why I host these shows. but it feels a bit like I am just like the youth sort of like prospect with a bunch of like veterans who know this. And I know the other hosts as well are really good as well. I know that Reese tends not to host it, but again, he's great to have as a co-host as well. And look, just because someone might not be able to start a host show, I think Matt is a way better host, we will say. But it's nice sometimes when you have these solo shows because you have the comments to refer to. And I just think it's nice to chuck myself in the deep end with this because it's something that doesn't come to me very naturally. I'm not the best public speaker, as you can tell. But the stuff like this, the little quizzes I do, or like the engagement of the comments, it makes this whole show. I mean, the comments make the members of they make Cardiff City World, and I'm going on this like wholesome tangent now, but So who's spamming? Phone died and missed the quiz. Ah, mate, I'm really sorry about that, but don't worry, you didn't miss much. Honestly, you just missed people guessing how old I was. Unless you've got you guessing if that, I think you did. Problem is oh god, 1 second. Can't think without my thinking juice. Problem we have is how refs have influenced our game. 72 is the answer. Joke. I think. I mean, they've never been kind to us, have they? But we'd be foolish to think that we're the only team in this, right? And in terms of how the refs are. Yes, I did just call it thinking juice, by the way. It does help me. It's literally blackcurrant squash. Yeah, so I don't know, because I try to be very pragmatic with the ref situation because I know that it's not just us, right? But at the same time, I do just feel maybe it's this underdog feeling, or this because we're a Welsh team in an English league. Or I don't know. Like, I don't think all refs could have it for us in that. I do just get a feeling there is a bit of biasness towards the English team. I just about everywhere. I could be completely wrong and just playing the victim cards, and you can tell me I am or not. I know this comment section is going to be biased into thinking I'm right in this because Cardiff City fans. But come on, like, some of the decisions have gone against us, or just the decisions that haven't gone for us. Like, it takes Yusuf Salek to get into a fist fight with someone for him to win, a penalty or a free kick or anything. Even going down in their own half, it's terrible. Stockport seem to get the rub of the green with the refs. 9 pens and hardly any reds. The way they hack players down, I think. Yeah, it's important to know that it's like, we can't. The thing with refs, right? It's hard to analyze the performance statistically because you can say, oh, one team's been given 5 penalties a season, we've been given 1 or none or something like that. So obviously the refs are biased. It's like, no, because the context of the game matters. You can't just give everyone the same number of yellow cards, red cards, penalties, free kicks, corners, whatever. So I get that, but I guess 9 penalties. I mean, look, the team could just be very good at drawing fouls in, but from what you're saying, Jonathan, as well, with the way they hack players down, they're probably just really smart at like doing it in a dirty way, but kind of discreetly, if you know what I mean. And again, I think other teams have been good at doing that. I mean, Derby County was a very good team at doing it last season for us, playing quite counter-attacking as well. I think Burton Albion and Port Vale, Wimbledon was probably the best example of a team that's actually pretty good. They've got a good manager under their belt. Obviously, they're not doing swimmingly now, but I reckon they might stay up a season. I think Wimbledon will stay up because it's all a mud mess down the bottom. But I think Port Vale's not too far off it. If they just get a good run of games, if they get 2 wins, that could change everything really for them. But I look at Port Vale and think, like, even with their physicality, they don't have the depth that they had, like, when they had Tolai, who's now at Plymouth, which I think was an amazing signing for Plymouth, mind you, to snap him up real quick. But when we played Wimbledon, it was like, oh my God, there was absolutely like no sort of like getting through them. It was like we would have a couple of chances all game and that was it. And then we snuck a goal at the end. But honestly, could have finished 0-0 or 1-0 to them at the full-time whistle. And I think it was only a second game of the season. No, it was a third game of the season, I think it was. So, teams know how to play to frustrate us. And then obviously the good thing is that we don't react to it because before we would have. I think we'll be all right with the influence of refs. I think that it must say we'll be all right. I don't think they're going to be on our side anytime soon. And they shouldn't be. They should be unbiased. But referees, they got a lot to focus on as well. They're going to make wrong decisions, and they're going to act with 100% confidence that they made it right, even if they know in the back of their minds that they made a mistake. But you tell me this: how many times have you seen referees change their mind unless they were to go to something like VAR? Like, and again, we don't have that. I still think with VAR, we wouldn't get much luck with it. And I know Neil Warnock was a big sort of like supporter of VAR before it came in when we had that Chelsea game in the Premier League. Not the recent one, the Premier League one, where it was the Azpilicueta offside goal. It still haunts me today. I don't understand how that just, even though VAR wasn't a thing, how the linesman just couldn't have like looked around Williams' giant afro and just, just had a look to see if he was onside or not. Was it intentional? I don't know. I mean, but he's standing right in front of him. And look, I know I'm going on a tangent about that now, but it just shows the lack of the thought behind it of, there needs to be context, isn't it? One of those pens were against us. I think it was the NG foul. I think it was a pen though. I can't remember specifically, but NG was being very reckless in that play, and it's just like you're kind of asking for it at that point, aren't you? Paul says we won't change. We'll continue to grind out results. When we get back to full steam with players, results will be better. I can't really argue with that really, but Swindon thrown out of EFL trophy. What's that for? Who they play? Man City or something, was it? Cardiff City fans says officiating has never been good, but League One has been a joke. We should have had a vote for the worst ref of the season. For me, it's between Peterborough, Stockport, or Wickham. Yeah, it was the Wickham ref. And I mean, to be fair, there's a few of them, but oh my god. I mean, just like the inconsistency of some of the refs has been diabolical. Like League One, like I know like Championship was poor, and even Premier League, right? Premier League's a bit better, but it's not without its criticism. I think with the difference of the Premier League, you are getting the best of the best because everything's being televised. Everything's going to be broadcasted unless it's a 3 p.m. kickoff. But there's going to be big crowds for that, so they're going to want to make sure they don't put a ref in who's not got the experience. But even then, it's like because they have the assistance of the other officials and VAR, it's like maybe they feel a bit of like relaxation about their job, but they don't have to pay as much attention because they know they can just review everything. But then you have, I think it was one of the first games that we played. Yeah, it was the Peterborough game. Right? I was sitting next to my granddad who came to watch the game with me. And I remember him saying, like, God, he hasn't got like a mic or anything attached to him or a earpiece or something, or you couldn't see it. And I was thinking, like, every ref has like a little sort of earpiece or mic or something on them, so they can communicate with the fourth official. But it didn't look like that he had one, so it didn't look like there's any evidence that he had to basically ref the game from himself. And look, this could be wrong, but it looked pretty clear that he wasn't wearing any kind of like headset gear or whatever to sort of communicate with other officials, the linesmen or whatever. So I don't know, but let's have a look. JT, I'm sorry, I can't take that seriously because I don't know if that's you are being serious or whatever. Christ alive. Swindon thrown out on Luton, a reinstated game versus Plymouth postponed. Okay. 5-0 Man City hit on half-time on Newcastle in semi-final. I'd rather have Ham over what, Ev? I'm not sure if you sort of clocked it, but of who we play next. So get your score predictions for the Rotherham game. I'm going to say Rotherham. I know we didn't do a proper preview, but it's just last minute now, so I know we've gone just over just about to come to the hour mark now. I'm going to go for, I don't know. I feel like 2-0. I don't think it's going to be anything fancy, but we'll get the win and we get out of there. But yeah. Rotherham 1, Cardiff 3. Same with the Cardiff City fan. Rotherham 1, Cardiff 3. Rotherham are going down. I'm just saying that. Just Rotherham are going down, and I'd rather Ham. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks all for watching. If you're not a member already, please do become one. Honestly, the price of a cup of coffee, if not less. And, yeah, it's lovely to see loads of green names in the chat again. May that long last continue, whatever. I can't even speak right now. It's great being catch up with you all. I appreciate you all joining and interacting again, as always. Like I say, like, I can't always guarantee that every comment gets read out, but in future live streams, if you ever did want to make sure that your comment was read out, you can leave a kind super chat down below. It's not a requirement, but it really does help the channel out, because we do this for the love and not the money. I do it for the money. No, I don't. I don't get paid a single penny at the moment. So, you know, we do this all Cardiff City content 7 days a week. And again, with the members stuff as well. If you become a member, which you can go to via this QR code here, if you're watching on the long version, you can see down the bottom as well. There's also a scrolling link you can see, or scrolling instructions there. Patreon.com/Ace Podcast Nation. I almost had that bang on then. And yeah, please do come on. So guys, thank you very much. I totally do it for the money. Opposite side, Ev. Oh, that side then. There we go. Whichever side it looks, it might be flipped on my screen. There we are. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. I'll see you all soon.
This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/Ace Podcast Nation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards, from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional insider transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans. Balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.